Ever had a customer who said yes, yes, yes a billion times over throughout your whole campaign? You started off well, everything was great going around the car. They just kept saying yes, and then they slammed on the brakes at the close. Today, we're breaking down how to transform those little micro yes moments that we talked about last week into a confident mega commitment out of them without losing trust and without playing those stupid freaking pressure games that still pop up on my YouTube channel every single week. Seriously, I don't want to watch the crap anymore. But hey, you know what? That's not what we do here. Today, episode 53, we're going to knock it out of the park with this podcast. This one is micro commitments building up to a mega commitment that's easy for the customer to do. Let's roll. I remember a young couple coming on in and they were looking at an SUV for me back in the day. I showed them everything on this rig, how much it could tow, and they loved it. The amount of power it had, they loved that. How it helped their kids, they loved the whole thing. And their head nodded every single little thing I said. It was like looking at a bobblehead. The thing is that I had a huge pile of micro commitments set up. And as soon as I mentioned the paperwork, their faces just shifted. A lot of the fear came back and a lot of the introductory emotions came on back. And the reason was that I hadn't connected all these micro moments to them actually owning the car. This, my friends, is where the magic comes in. And when you can get this bridge set up properly between the micro moments and the mega commitment, this is everything. Each micro yes that you receive from the customer is like a little puzzle piece when used properly and clicked into place. Repeat that little puzzle piece back to them, that micro yes, after it's confirmed. Something along the lines of, you told me you love safety and you love space and the comfort works for you and your family, correct? Did I hear that right? When they confirm again with another yes, this anchors those yeses and makes all those yeses, those breadcrumbs you put along the way, that makes them real. At this point in time, they're now starting to develop mental ownership, not just of being a prospective buyer. They're starting to visualize and see themselves using this and how it can improve their lives. So, for example, don't just recap this stuff. Tie it all together with a narrative. So imagine this. You're going on your road trip, vacation, kids are in the back, they're finally sacked out. Safety systems on this car, they're all keeping you calm. Now it's keeping you in the lane, speeding up, slowing you down. You got night vision in the camera cabin now. You can even see that your kids are asleep. This thing has all the comfort for everyone. And that's exactly what this car is going to give you. By tying it back to them, this is where that bridge starts to come into place. Like I said, you anchor the yeses. That anchor then gets them to go, okay, I'm starting to take mental ownership at this point. And then you reinforce it with a bridge of them actually seeing the photo of their life, of them driving down the road, kids in the back, them at peace of mind, middle of the night, they actually aren't hearing the are we there yet and can we pull over? Once all these steps are in place of you got the micro yeses, you created the bridge, this is when it leads into the commitment. If you're more of a visual person like myself, just visualize it. That bridge, once connected, leads to the mega commitment from the customer. So here's a little secret with this. Ask one more big confirming question, one that just feels a little bit bigger than all the rest. Can you see this vehicle being the vehicle you'll trust for the next 5 years? That's when you have the right to pivot to the close. Here are 3 ways to phrase this. It sounds like the car checks all the boxes that you told me that mattered to you, right? Customer's simply just going to say yes to this. It's one of those, oh my gosh, yeah, you've helped me the whole way. I trust you. I find value in what you're saying. Of course, this vehicle's going to work. On a scale of 1 to 10, how well does this particular model fit your family's needs? Now, this one will end up in a number, but still, you can turn it into that yes. It's going to be a very high number, and then you can lead into something more along the lines of, now that everything has worked out on this, and I've shown you everything that is on the vehicle, is this the one that you want to take home today? They'll say yes, and now you just move right into the close. Great, let's sit down, and it's time to see how much that thing's going to cost you. Because I'm not going to negotiate much. If that's your vehicle, it's right there. Go ahead and sign. But the micro yeses are not about any sort of clever line to get to this mega commitment. It's about alignment, and the psychology of it checks out. When people are in a space where they say yes more to things that actually make them happy, they tend to bond quicker. At the same time, If you're talking to the customer about things with the intent of making them happier, what tends to happen is the customer, by proxy, tends to be more in line to trust you further. But there's a lot of times along the way where we just skip the needs assessment and we don't even get into these items. That mega commitment is something that is earned. Nothing on this podcast or the next one coming up next week or the one last week talked anything about hard closes. We're talking about getting people to simply buy from you. When we look at some of these items, like the bridge in the beginning with the story that I told, we have to, as I said before, take those yeses and confirm them from the customer and have the customer stake that yes from the ground. As enough of those stakes are laid out, eventually the customer has actually something they enjoy and the reason to say yes in the end to this thing. Keep in mind, the whole point of AutoNerd is to get us all back to the original playbook of here's the car, you love it, that's the price. It is what it is. When people find something that they love and we prove it to them that this is the vehicle that is going to make all your problems go away, and we show them that we care, these little yeses become micro amplifiers. Think of things that just gave the customer a confidence boost. By helping the customer, we're confirming to them that everything's safe, and they're confirming to themselves that they're on the right path with the right person, getting the job done in the right way. But if we don't give them that time, if we skip that needs assessment, if we just blow them off, if they go, I want that car, they just walk right onto it, there's not much that we can do. You see, you're leaving profit on the table at that point. The money's coming out of your pocket, and essentially you're paying the dealership, and it is what it is. The dealership's going to make their cut no matter what. And I've seen very few deals go on down where the dealership doesn't, unless they're poorly run or they're intentionally trying to lose money. In the end, with us as consultants and as managers, our job is to pull in that gross profit. Let's look at these a little bit more. Those anchors have to be tied back to, again, those strings that bolt the hot button down to the customer's soul. This is, again, why I tell you all that hot buttons are a pile of garbage and we should just ignore them completely and actually get to know the person that's in front of us. Because what those interests, not hot buttons, are anchored to, that string, if you play them right, those are what sell. Not pulling something out and saying, oh, yes, you came in on that particular vehicle, therefore you want to buy that particular car. It could be the wrong one, wrong price. We've all been there. Leave the customer up to their own devices in most cases, and they're going to attempt to buy the most expensive thing on the lot. We've all been there a billion times. But if the needs assessment is done right, you pull that vehicle around, and if they're looking, let's say they say fully loaded, you ask them, when it comes to fully loaded, what exactly do you mean? And they tell you, well, I want dual zone climate control and power windows and power mirrors. Okay, so you clearly haven't bought a car in like the past 10 years. Yes, I can pull that off for you. Absolutely. If I get you a couple extra little niceties, are you going to be okay with that? Well, yes, I am. Now at this point, confidence has seen a boost. And this is just simply developing excitement for me to pull around a car for them. Now the person's starting to get jazzed to drive the car. So we're beefing up their happiness quotient as we go along. And as we progress on through, we continue to ask things that we spoke about during the needs assessment. So if it's kid-oriented, point out the kid stuff. If it's sports-oriented, tie it on back to the car. If it's nothing about the car at all, but this is just a nice ride and they're absolutely enjoying it, get them to talk about themselves. Talking about themselves, trust just starts building rapidly. It's like pouring accelerant on the conversation at that point in time. But take a look at AutoKnerd.com when you have a chance. Go on over there and sign up for that newsletter. And the reason I'm telling you is this, not because I'm like, hey, everybody go over there. I would like you to go over there, sign up for a newsletter, and get the tool for this week. There is a tool for this week for this particular podcast and last week's. Grab the one from last week, which is the micro yeses, and then the mega commitment one for this week. And those tools, when they align, you'll see you can track micro yes moments. And this is about us starting to observe. And as we see how these micro yeses turn out, and we see in the customer little changes in their body language and how they say yes, and what inspired them to come to that particular mood when they said yes. That allows us to then repeat that behavior over and over if we run into individuals with similar personalities. Take that time. Download that thing right now if you can. The information's in the show notes. But either way, those micro yeses lead to that bridge. And that bridge is getting that customer to see visually in their mind's eye that this is going to work. This is perfect. This is awesome. Now, you being smart have already done the needs assessment. You know what's going on. You know how to paint this picture. You know what to pull from the customer's reality to go, hey, these are the individual items that you need to be looking at. Then, when you have those on the vehicle, simply talk about their life. Don't point out just the part and hope that they understand just the part. Point out the part, but in relation to them. You see in the back of the headrest there? There's a massive screen. I know. Your kids are absolutely going to love this thing, aren't they? Now, play with it real quick, and you'll see on in there. Well, similar to like kids these days, it's got like Twitch and YouTube and all sorts of cool stuff right inside of the headrest. This gets the customer to perk up and go, oh, well, that is amazing. So my kid will have all of that? Well, actually, do you want your kid to have YouTube and all that other stuff inside the car? I hear they can play unlimited episodes of whatever thing that will drive you nuts, but it does have Bluetooth, so you can slap some headphones on that kid too. How does that sound for you? Oh, this sounds great. Yes. So at this point, now we're painting their life onto the vehicle, onto the features, and those features are not features anymore. Those features are new guardrails. Those features are new items that are now built into their life. There's a brand that I work with that has a camera inside of one of their vehicles for kids. It has night vision on it and it has zoom capability. I think this is just awesome. And one of the stories that I tell an awful lot is, what if that little hellion in the back of the car is being a real pain in the butt? Now parents have that ability to zoom in on the kid. Almost every parent in the world would say that they want it, but you have to paint it in the right light in order to actually be able to talk about it. So back to the whole needs assessment thing. You learn who they are and then get those micro yeses going, because the more yeses that come out, the higher the likeliness is that the customer is going to be able to easily slide into that mega commitment in the end, because they've been confirming it to themselves the whole time that everything is just fine and they're in a safe place and that they can do this and that this is the right vehicle for me. Give it a shot, because the mega commitment, as I said before, it's not just a clever line. It's about alignment, and it's an art. And when you see this done right, all of a sudden you see your closing ratios go up, your grosses go up at the same time, and you're selling more cars. It's crazy. And it's not even a trick. It's just you sit down with them, you learn who they are, and you ask confirming questions along the way and have a rebuttal to go back and allow them to confirm that you've heard everything correctly and that you showed everything well. And then you move them to the close and you lock in that decision in a way that feels completely natural. Again, it's about alignment. Micro yeses, they become easier as you start to learn how this artwork flows. But when you weave them into a story, make sure you confirm them and ask that last lock-in question. The mega commitment isn't this clever line. It's a skill. It's like taking a paintbrush after you've known how to paint for many years and painting something beautiful. It's the ability to help somebody out. And when you're genuine and doing this skill together, it not only becomes this series of yeses to turn into this big yes in the end that gets a car sold. It turns into a big fat paycheck because the customer has confirmed that this is the right car. And with that bit of confirmation and that bit of tie-in, now mental ownership is concreted. Nice, short, sweet, to the point. Really, I wanted to tie this one into the last episode, but it was a bit of a departure, and I think it was worthy of its own conversation. Micro yeses to mega commitment, episode 53. So if you got any value out of this today, please share it with somebody else. Hit that subscribe button. That subscribe button helps me a whole lot. I want to get this channel going a little bit so we can help out more people out there. Remember, when you hit that subscribe button or that thumbs up, it helps, but getting this message out to more people can help change our industry and maybe make us not, look like the worst people on the planet to the vast majority of the people out there. Once we change our behavior, we start making more money. Once we start making more money, I guess the sky's the limit on that one. With that, though, go on over to AutoKnerd.com, or in the show notes, take a look. You're going to see a link right on in there to today's podcast that will take you on over to get the mega commitment tool that you can put to use immediately right now. Now, if you need any instruction on that, just listen to the last half of this episode and hopefully you'll pick up a little bit along the way. That'll help you out with that, but I'll make the notes really good so you can figure it out very easily. So check that link in the notes, subscribe to the channel, share the message. Let's get our industry changed. AutoNerd out. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.